You're muted, my man. Keith, you're muted.
What's up?
How you guys doing? Welcome back to the God Squad, episode 4. Yes, we are back, and we are live. Thank you, everybody, for watching, for tuning in, for streaming, for listening to the podcast itself every Friday, wherever you listen to podcasts. And we got a great one for you this time. Just real quick, I guess we'll introduce ourselves. I'm Keith Giles. I'm an author. I've written a bunch of books. Do this podcast and another one called Heretic Happy Hour. And I'm joined by Dylan and December. So say hi, guys, and introduce yourselves real quick.
What's up? I'm December Rose, author, spoken word artist, wife, mom, and your blackest friend, probably.
Yeah.
Anyways, you can get my book. I'm with Quire. Shout out to Quire Publishing. You can get my book on Amazon.com. I'm the author of The Church Can Go to Hell, and I co-host with these lovely gentlemen right here on the God Squad. What's happening?
And I am Dylan Neighbor Cruz, the Tattooed Theologian. I am also an author of multiple books. My latest is Theological Musings Volume 1 from Quire Publishing. And you can find my blog, thetattooedtheologian.com. There's a dash between tattooed and theologian because apparently there's another one.
There ain't no more.
Check it out.
Yeah.
And welcome to the show, everybody.
Yeah, welcome everybody. So before we jump into our segments and all that stuff, I mean, we have to talk about, we were joking last episode about how, it felt like a whole month had gone by in just a week. Well, kind of feels that way too. There's so many things happen in the span of a week. Last week when we did the episode, we were talking about Joe Biden and if he was going to drop out or not, and if he did, who might take his place and all that. And let's fast forward a week, and holy moly, things have really, really changed. So now Biden did something that Donald Trump would never do in a million years, and that was put the party and the country ahead of himself and his own ego, and stepped aside and handed it off to Kamala Harris, which seems to have been a really smart thing to do. It seems like that's been a great thing. But I'm curious what you guys think. What did you guys think about all that?
I'll let Dylan go first. I got lots of
somebody
thoughts.
needs to somebody needs to slow this fucking roller coaster down, y'all. I'm telling you, it is crazy. Because every time we turn around, some crazy big ass breaking news is happening. I was initially worried that if he stepped out of the race, that somehow that was going to throw things into chaos.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like Mr. He's so old he doesn't even know his name was playing 5-dimensional chess while everybody else was playing Chinese checkers or some shit. Because as other commentators noted, he timed that to exquisite perfection. Mm-hmm. After the RNC, after the Sunday morning talk shows, and then he just tweets that shit out so nobody can get it. It's just like, damn, dude.
Yes.
Tip of the cap, Joe. Tip of the cap.
Yeah, way to go.
Listen, I'm with Dylan. Slow this train down. Slow it down. Damn. Whenever we can't even catch our breath, right? Because I don't know about y'all, but it seemed like, first of all, it already seemed like we've been in some kind of wormhole since the pandemic. I don't know about anybody else, but from 2020 till now, it's like, you know how they showing the movies where they hit the warp speed and everything's like a blur going by you. That's how it's felt like since 2020. Okay. Yeah. And it seems like, I don't know, breaking news is broken. Okay. It's broken. Breaking news is broken. We got to come up with another term for breaking news. Cause WTF, what's really going on in the world? I don't know what word we're going to put in the place of breaking news, because it seems like we get breaking news every couple minutes. Right.
Yes.
And so even though there was a large push for it, even though there was a lot of people saying it should happen, even on the Republican side, they were saying he needs to step out. He needs to bow down. They were not. They were caught flat-footed. Period. They are flabbergasted, bewildered, hoodwinked, and bamboozled over there on Fox News. Okay, they were. Even though they were saying it should happen, I don't think anybody expected it to happen. Okay, no. I was hopeful that he might, but there's a block of voters that they're going to vote however they vote anyway. I was going to vote straight ticket blue. It don't matter what the hell happened, right?
Right.
But I'm so glad. I'm so glad that President Biden had the courage to do something like this.
Yeah,
people underestimate how much courage it takes to do something like that. We talk about the honor in it. We talk about the dignity of it. We talk about the unprecedented historic nature of it. But the courage to say, I am not the one for this moment. Okay. Yeah. There is a extreme amount of humility combined with courage that it takes to say, I'm not the one.
Yeah.
I'm not the one. And knowing you don't have to. There's a level of meekness. Okay. Epic meekness that goes with that. What were you going to say, Dylan?
Well, Heather Cox Richardson, she's a really well-known historian. She compared it to John Adams stepping down and turning the reins of government over to Thomas Jefferson, and George Washington not seeking a third term so that Americans would know that there are no kings here. Mm-hmm. And to Keith's point, Donald Trump has never done anything so laudable in his life.
No.
Like that man, I don't think he's
mind.
Psychologically capable of doing anything that puts somebody that's not Donald Trump first.
I doubt whether he would even give the last slice of pie to his grandkids. You know what I mean? He doesn't strike me as someone who would give up anything to anybody,
Yeah, I mean, he literally just told his nephew, or according to his nephew's new book, that his nephew should just let his son die, and then he should just move to Florida.
Wow.
Because his son is disabled.
Yeah.
And that sounds an awful lot like that place, 1937 Germany.
Yeah.
That's what that sounds like.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I got to say, for me, my reaction when I heard that, I don't know about you guys, we were talking about before, even we went on the air, that doing the God Squad And normally we do it twice a week. Wednesdays with John Fugelsang, Thursdays, here live on the stream. And then, but we have to keep up with it now more than I ever used to have to do. I have to pay attention to politics now, and every day I'm reading things and making notes and figuring out what we're going to talk about on the show. And so I'm really immersed in this stuff, and it takes a toll on you, after a while.
Yes.
And I tell you what, when I saw the news that Biden was officially going to step down, it was like the pressure just went like, whew. Oh my gosh, I can breathe.
There was a collective exhale. I think everyone had so much weight.
Oh my gosh. And then, so that was the first, the air went out of the balloon a little bit. It was like, oof, okay, whoa, that feels good. What's that? Oh, that's like hope. And then I saw Kamala Harris, the reaction, just the immediate reaction, the excitement, she got all the, raised $80-90 million in 24 hours.
Actually, by the time it hit the 24-hour, the actual 24-hour mark from the announcement, it was about 100 million.
That's right. And then she did a Zoom call with something like 40,000 Black women. I'm like, I didn't even know Zoom could handle that many calls. Just the excitement, right? And so, and now I'm wondering, you guys tell me, I don't want to overstate it. Maybe it's just wishful thinking, but it feels similar. I put it that way. It feels similar to the kind of optimism and excitement among young people, especially when Obama was nominated and when Obama was running, because I think young people especially are like, oh my gosh, a choice that isn't an old white man, someone that's young, someone that's a woman, someone that's Black, someone that has guts, someone that has courage. Look, the fact that she refused to attend Netanyahu's address this week, holy shit. I was like, damn, okay, now we're talking.
And did you see she gave a public press conference today following her meeting with Netanyahu, and I think it was pretty clear what side of the matter that she's on. What's up, Judy?
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Lynette Orton. I love you too, Lynette. I love that she said she started her statements with the children that are dying, the people that are starving, acknowledging that, because I watched that speech Netanyahu gave, and I was like, this guy is a professional gaslighting jerk. I mean, because he painted every protester as anti-Semitic, and I was like, there's Jews out there protesting.
Yeah. There are Orthodox rabbis.
Yes. So that they're not anti themselves. I mean, so he really did try it. He tried it. He tried to say that they're all either anti-Semitic or Hamas supporting. And I'm like, this guy is a professional gaslighter, because he knows good and damn well that everybody's not that, and it's more complex than that, and that there's a greater message than that. And I don't care what he is talking about as far as them uprooting and rooting out terrorists. Yes, that is necessary, but you cannot make me believe that it's necessary to kill 30-something thousand Palestinians in order to get there. You can't.
No, and he had the balls. 40,000.
I'm sure it's even more than that, because I'm sure they're not reporting every death.
Of course, But he had the balls to stand up in that speech and say that he asked some official, how many civilians have been killed? And the answer was almost none. And I
heard him say that. He said practically, or some word. And I was like,
none.
What does that mean?
I'm sorry. Are you counting
practically none?
Are we counting the first time or the second time?
Palestinians with Hamas. That's what that means.
That's right. No, that's exactly what he means. But I mean, are you, when you just say that, it's like, okay, but are you counting the first time or the second time you bombed a refugee camp?
Right.
Were they not civilians? What are you saying? Like, it's bullshit. It's so, talk about gaslighting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and for those who don't know, Israel was one of the first groups that funded Hamas when they were formed.
That's right.
Because the Israeli government wanted to use them as a wedge in order to continue their Zionist takeover of Israel Palestine.
That's right. You need a target. You need a bad guy.
And she mentioned that in her remarks. Harrison, she said something about the history of the region or something.
Good.
And without her, yes, William Fenstermaker says practically none compared to the entire population of the world.
Right.
Yeah, practically none. She mentioned the history, and that was she was very, very, very pragmatic, very careful in how she put those words. I don't know who wrote the speech, but they did a good job. She was very careful because she said the history, and I knew everyone listened to that knew what that meant.
Sure.
As in, Israel was occupying and oppressing these people before this happened.
That's right.
Historically.
Yeah, so that goes a long way. I know with young voters, I'll just say it goes a long way with my kids. That because they weren't crazy about Biden either, because he had been, at least vocally, Biden had been supportive of Israel, Netanyahu, and selling him, giving him weapons and all this kind of stuff and stuff. So yeah, so for Kamala to, like, almost basically the first thing she's done is to say, nope, Netanyahu, we're not having it. We need to have another conversation. We need to change the tone here. That was beautiful. So,
and she flat out said we need a 2-state solution too.
That's right. So I have hope. I have hope. Something I haven't had in a while. Feels really good. And seeing the polls now, Kamala's pulling ahead. And you can tell the other thing, not just the polls that Kamala's pulling ahead, but watching the freak out
that's the
Trump
part.
side and Fox News and Newsmax. They are freaking out. And that tells you.
The biggest freak out is about their VP pick, because I don't think they realize how much bullshit this guy has been speaking the last couple of years. And now, but my whole thing is, they thought they had this thing so in the bag that they I don't think they did their research on this guy very well, or not well, or maybe they did, but the arrogance and the hubris of picking him, you know what I'm saying? And even though they know all this other stuff that he has said, they could take his collective statements about Trump, the Harris campaign, to make a campaign ad against Trump using
just quoting J.D. Vance, America's Hitler. He's dangerous. He's a con artist. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think the Kremlin had a little bit to do with the picking of J.D. Vance because he spouts pro-Russian propaganda talking points all the fucking time. So I would not be at all surprised if Vladimir Putin, or when Orban came over to talk to Trump at Mar-a-Lago in contravention of, I think there's a law about American citizens meeting with foreign heads of state and speaking privately like that. Who knows? Orban had just gone to Russia before that and came to Mar-a-Lago. I'm reasonably certain that there was some kind of message from Vlad the Impaler over there.
I'm sure
to the Lord Commander Marmalade, but JD Vance he's a horrible person by choice. He's one of those people that chooses to be horrible by choice. I don't understand how his wife, who is a person of color and who used to be a Democrat until a few years ago, is what John said one night on the show, how she can just look him in the eye and think, this is the guy I want to be with. And Americans don't realize, like, he doesn't think that people who don't have kids should have the same civil rights.
That's right.
And flat out said it.
That's right. And that's actually in the Project 2025. Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of, William, the male headship thing. And that whole idea that the nuclear family is the be all and end all, which does not appear in the Bible, folks. The American nuclear family is nowhere to be found in the 66 books of the Protestant canon or the 72 books of the Catholic canon.
And Jesus and Paul both basically say, be celibate.
Yeah, because the end is near.
Yes, right.
Here's the interesting thing about that, and I'm going to deal. Actually, let me hold on to that comment that I was going to make, because I got on my FTF of the I'm gonna hold on to that. But here's the thing about it, about what he's saying and who should have power and all this and all that. I think I'm hearing a lot. She doesn't have kids, and none of the presidents had. Nobody, she personally hasn't had any children. Nobody that's sat in the office of the president had a uterus or personally had any children either. So I don't know why that's a problem, or why that would be a qualifier. Why would that be a qualifier? As a woman or as any person that you had to give birth. I don't know why that should be a qualifier for anyone. But the whole thing about it too is about this whole headship thing. What the mindset behind, you don't have a stake in the country unless you have I don't know what it is, unless you have is it have children, have a family, have what? I don't get it. I don't get it, and I don't understand their logic behind why they think that's smart, why they think that's a smart political move or platform. It's dumb and short-sighted, and it narrows the scope on who can stand behind you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, remember that the statement on Christian nationalism and the gospel, which William Wolfe and Dusty Devers, our fundamentalist buckwheatery from last week, they wrote in that document, political expediency is not our goal. We do not care about that. We're going to push right through, just like we don't give two shits about the 350 million Americans who may not agree with us.
That's right.
And they don't.
An interesting thing I saw was that Kamala Harris's husband, his ex-wife, took to Twitter and said, look, you people attacking her because she hasn't had kids. She is co-parent with me and my ex-husband.
Wow.
Kamala Harris got the endorsement of the ex-wife.
That's beautiful.
You know how fucking hard that is? I guarantee you, I got some ex-wives that do not want to talk to me.
I love that. And the fact that she came out and smacked them down, though. Like, who would it? And here's the thing that they don't understand, or they do and they don't give a damn. I don't know which. Is the way the Kamala Harris family, the way her family's set up, that's more common than.
Oh, God, I mean,
that's a good portion of the way the United States is set up. You know what I'm saying? What did Donald Trump say? Fortunately or unfortunately? A blended family is more common than uncommon. If you throw a rock and hit 3 houses, 2 out of 3 of them probably gonna be a blended family.
Oh yeah, I mean, the Brady Bunch was one of the most popular sitcoms ever. And how many sitcoms have you seen with that blended family dynamic?
Of course. Yeah, that's the American family.
And there's nothing that says that a woman has to have kids to be a woman.
Yes.
That's some made up horse shit.
Yeah, it is.
If you let Vance tell it, I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, that's right.
And so some of these right-wing, misogynist, brainwashed women. Some women can be more misogynist than some men.
That's right.
Yeah, it's internalized misogyny, just like internalized racism. When you see Candace Owens up there shilling for white supremacy, that is some internalized.
She ain't the only one. I'd have seen so many.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. CJ Pearson, have you seen that little shit?
I think them, and there's some twins. I don't know. There's a lot.
Oh, the Hodge twins. Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm like,
they're terrible.
So we need let's keep this rolling here. We have a lot of things we still got to jump into. I had a clip I just wanted to share real quick. This is a clip from the John Oliver, I think the most recent John Oliver. It's a short clip. It's just a part of something that he said I want to highlight. And to set it up, basically, if you watch the RNC, you saw the people holding up and the chanting, and the mass deportations now and holding up those signs. By the way, I shared a screenshot of the crowd holding up the mass deportations now sign. And I had people commenting, this is Photoshop, this isn't real. I'm like, nope. I went and found a video clip, 2 of them, and a live video clip of them holding up those signs and chanting, mass deportations. So, and now what's behind, we've talked about this before, but what's behind all this is the idea that the belief among evangelical Christians and Trump supporters that the biggest problem is immigration, and there's so much crime, at the border, and it's fentanyl coming across the border, and we've got to shut the border down. We got to close the border down because we've got to stop the drugs and stop the crime. So John Oliver had an excellent, I recommend watching the entire segment, but there's one part of the segment I want to show right here.
The Republican National Committee made a website tracking alleged examples of migrant crime called BidenBloodbath.com. If you go to it, you'll find the names of 13 different states, which you can click on to find evidence of so-called migrant crime there. But for 4 of those states, when you click through, you'll find all they're able to cite is those states' overall rates of fentanyl deaths. And look, those deaths were tragic, but you cannot connect them to migrant crime, given that to the extent fentanyl has been seized at the border, 90% of the time it was seized during legal crossings, and 91% of those seizures were from US citizens, which of course they were. If you want to move drugs across the border, you're going to do it with American citizens because they attract less attention from authorities. I'm not telling you how to move drugs. But if you are going to, that is the only smart way to do it. So I have just told you how to move drugs. And as for people crossing illegally, just 0.009% of people arrested by Border Patrol last year were found to possess any fentanyl whatsoever. So, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I don't know if BidenBloodbath.com is the reliable source of news and information that we all thought it was. And look.
Okay, there you go. So thank you, John Oliver, because those statistics are beautiful, right? And these are actual numbers from the Border Patrol telling us that of the fentanyl that was seized, 91% of it was American citizens who left their home in America and went to Mexico and brought it back over. It is not illegal aliens bringing the fentanyl. 91% of it is coming from us. It's Americans, right? Not illegal immigrants. And so, yeah, I think, again, facts beat fear. We have to drop this. And I did a spotlight, our very first spotlight for God Squad. We're doing a little segment once in a while. And I interviewed an evangelical Christian woman who supports Trump. And when I was asking her one of the reasons why she supported Trump, and you'll hear this, I think, next week, one of the things she says is that, well, it's the border issue. It's, the border is such this big problem, all the crime and all the fentanyl and all that. So I shared that specifically to answer that misconception and just an outright lie that the problem at the border is illegal immigrants bringing fentanyl into America.
Yeah.
Yes.
And John, I think, had a comment, undocumented immigrants, please. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Calling a human being illegal is something that right-wing people do. I think Keith is probably just echoing their language.
Yes, exactly.
I know Keith well enough to know.
Yeah, no human being is illegal. Thank you.
That's right. And Jesus didn't put any qualifications on love of neighbor or welcoming the stranger. He did not say only if they enter legally or if they have documentation or paperwork or they believe like you or they speak the same language as you. He just said to welcome them and love them, which was the ethos of the ancient Near East, because in the ancient Near East, you could fucking die just by waking up in the morning. Yeah. So, having hospitality was of paramount importance in that social milieu. And it should be today, because a lot of the reasons that they're coming are because American policies have made life there problematic, if not hellish.
That's right.
Throughout Latin America.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So I just had to clarify that. So I think it's time to move into our segments here. I believe, Dylan, you have a fundamentalist fuckwit to share.
I do. Yeah. Matt, can we put up that graphic? There we go. Our wonderful producer, Matthew DiStefano. So this week's fundamentalist fuckwittery of the week is brought to you by Apostle Abby Abildness, who is in the state of Pennsylvania. So if there are any listeners listening from Pennsylvania, look up the accounts on Twitter, Kira Resistance and Jenny Cone 1. Because Abby Abildness spends a lot of time in the Harrisburg Capitol building, and she is a Seven Mountains Dominionist. Her mountain that she's trying to take over is government, and she wants a theocrat. Their view is that they want theocratic states, and she thinks that because Pennsylvania was founded by William Penn, and I'll get to more of this in a minute, that he was the seat of a nation, and she wants Philadelphia to be something like the Vatican or Jerusalem.
What?
And this network of theocratic states. So she produced a documentary about William Penn called Penn's Seed, which, I'm sorry, could you have come up with a better name? Because that sounds like you're talking about William Penn ejaculating, Abby. Just saying. And I watched it this afternoon, and I kept waiting for the shoe to drop where they started talking about the NAR kind of stuff, because throughout the documentary they very clearly stated over and over again that William Penn was very big on religious tolerance and religious freedom. And that was one of the things that he was all about when he got the land grant from the King of England to set up Penn's Woods, as Pennsylvania is known as. When I finished the documentary, I came to the conclusion that this is a smokescreen. She's trying to what she's trying to say is that William Penn wanted this very peaceable kingdom because he witnessed firsthand warfare on the European continent and religious strife in the UK with the Civil War, and so lots of religious violence and persecution. But what she never gets to is the fact that she's a theocratic Christian nationalist who is with the New Apostolic Reformation, and they want to take over the government. Now, they're slightly different than some Christian nationalists in that the NAR does not believe in racism. They are a multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-race movement. And one of the reasons I believe that is because charismatic forms of Christianity have really been taking off in the global South, Latin America, and particularly, and in Africa. So it would be really hard for them as charismatics to start talking about white supremacy without alienating some of their own people and their networks. She leads closed door prayer sessions in the Pennsylvania state capitol. She's also an election denier. She believes that Doug Mastriano didn't actually lose the gubernatorial election here in Pennsylvania. That motherfucker lost in a landslide. Like, it was a big, big win for Josh Shapiro. She also, the NAR also, in egregious ways, culturally appropriates Jewish traditions and religious practice. So they blow shofars.
Oh yeah,
which is not something that Christians do, right?
Well, and Christians I know I've heard a bunch of Christians do that.
They shouldn't be doing that. And then they got prayer mantles put over them, and they got mantled by another quote unquote prophet or apostle. Again, these prayer mantles are worn by only Jewish people. They are a Jewish prayer shawl. Right. They are not for Gentile people. Yeah. So for all of these reasons, and she's batshit crazy. They believe in corporeal demons running around. They think that that anybody who's not a fundamentalist Christian is demonic. So she probably would think that I am demonically possessed because I say fuck a lot, and because I think loving your neighbor is super cool. So for all of these reasons, Abby Abildness, faux prophet of the NAR, is our fundamentalist fuckwittery of the week representative.
Awesome.
Wow. And she's a so-called prophet.
Oh yeah. She's
what
an
she done prophesied? She probably prophesied that Trump will win the second term, didn't he?
Oh
yeah.
How many
prophets?
And that Mastriano would win the governorship here in Pennsylvania. And so, of course, when he did not win, and like I said, he got his ass handed to him.
It had to be that it was stolen.
He lost.
The prophecy had to be true.
Oh yeah. So that's right. She apparently gives tours at the Capitol on Thursdays.
Oh my gosh!
I'm thinking about jumping on the train next week or in the next week or so.
You got to be back in time for the show, though.
Exactly, and see if I can get in on one of these tours and just ask her, how does that freedom of religion that you keep talking about with William Penn mix with your idea of NAR, theocratic dominion?
Yeah, exactly.
And And if you watch that documentary, one of the things that it's kind of hagiography. It does not have anything bad to say about Penn. William Penn owned slaves when he came over here.
Yeah.
He did not immediately think about the abolition of slavery, though he was a pacifist and all of these other things, and he supposedly had really pleasant interactions with the Native American Lenape people and that were here. Watch that documentary with a critical eye if you watch it at all.
Yeah, where did you watch it at?
It's on YouTube. It's called Penn Seed.
Seed. S-E-E-D?
Seed. Yeah,
Seed.
Just like Onan seed.
Onan seed that was spilled on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What a name.
Oh my gosh. Well, we do have a caller. This is a returning caller. Our first returning caller, John. And I think you had a comment or something that you wanted to share with us. John, welcome back to the God Squad.
What's up, John?
Hi.
You need one of them horns that the party horn thing.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
We can hear you.
That was a good segment, Dylan, but I wasn't sure if you said she was a prophet for or a for-profit. I'm not really sure. But
she's a self-proclaimed prophet and apostle.
Of course. The best kind.
I just didn't talk about it even in Square where we were having a group with Keith, because he said that if somebody posted a conspiracy theory, they will unfriend them. So I didn't post anything, but I was thinking that wasn't a bullet. That wasn't even a shrapnel or something. But just today, the FBI was being grilled at the House of Representatives, and they were saying that they don't believe that Trump's ear was hit by a bullet or something, but he was saying that it's only through God that he's alive, because he felt that a bullet really hit his ear. And I just didn't believe it. I don't believe it. And now I think I had my subconscious working well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, we've talked about this. Like I think last episode or the episode before, Dylan, talked about how there's no way to get hit with a round from that rifle, even a grazed wound, and walk away from it. In fact, I saw, and I don't think this was the FBI ballistic test, but there were some guys who do. You ever seen these shows on cable? And I think there's some on YouTube. They're like fire guns and they have these slow motion cameras, and they'll shoot all kinds of things and show you what happens in slow motion. It's like, wow, how cool is that? It was one of those shows, and they had a ballistic, head with a skull on the inside, with a red hat and a wig, and they set it up, and the guy shot it with the same exact rifle and the same exact round, and he aimed for the tip of the ear. And when you see in slow motion what happens to that head, that ear, it like pulls back. It's like a cartoon. That ear just pulls back. It's like it would have come off. Yeah. There's no way it would have stayed on. It would have left a giant, the ear itself would have been ripped off of his head. It wouldn't have been a tiny little scratch that a Band-Aid would have covered. So I would agree. And I don't think that's a conspiracy theory. I think that's just the logical facts of the matter. You can look at it and tell.
But I so didn't want to be unfriended. But
well, I won't unfriend you, John. I think that's not a conspiracy. I think there's a lot. Now, the question will be, of course, if the FBI does an official, ballistics test and it has an official finding and comes out and says that, yeah, there's no way he was hit by the bullet. And by the way, they could do it not just with that. There were cameras at the event. They confiscated a whole bunch of phones and cameras from the event. They can pretty much recreate, what happened and see exactly from a bunch of different angles what actually happened. And they're probably going to be able to tell us pretty soon. I'm thinking it was a ricochet, like it hit the bullet hit something, and that exploded, and a piece of whatever it hit maybe scratched his ear.
But honestly, I don't think what that will do, because if they will do that, it will just really magnify the anger of the base. So I don't know if that will really help at all if the FBI did that or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, John, thank you so much for bringing that up. And I think
I'm
you're
with
right
you,
about
John.
that.
I'm not saying it was completely fabricated, but And here's another thing on the I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, but the whole situation was questionable to me because I listened to some of the I listened to some of the trial hearing, whatever you want to call it, before old girl resigned, which I actually am in favor of her resigning. I believe that was a complete failure from top to bottom.
The Secret Service director. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
it was a huge failure.
It doesn't matter what side of the
That's right.
political spectrum, she needed to resign.
Yeah.
Because there's no explaining why that happened. There's no explaining her way out of that. Why in the hell wasn't somebody on that roof? Why was that even available? Why was anywhere in the parameter available for anybody to get that kind of access to? That didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I don't like Donald Trump. I can't stand Donald Trump, but I'll be damned if this fool becomes a martyr because y'all ain't doing y'all goddamn job. And plus, I don't love him very much. I mean, I have the love of the love God gives us from one human to another. Outside of that, I can't stand his ass, but I don't want him to get shot. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to have him get executed. You know, that's not, I don't wake up thinking that. And so it was a failure. I think she should have resigned in her opening statement. She should have said all that she said and said, for that reason, I'm going to resign, but I will take your questions. She should have resigned right then in front of the whole American public and not waited till all the questions got too hot. Not only that, she didn't come prepared to answer the damn questions. I'm sitting there watching that. I'm thinking, bitch, why you ain't got the answer to these questions? How you didn't know that this is what they was going to ask you? And I don't care who appointed you. You got to do your damn job. If she wasn't going to resign, she should have been fired. You know what I'm saying? Because you failed, period. Now, with that all being said, all of that seemed like what do you call that? Some fuckery to me. Because how do you have bullets flying? You don't know if he has an accomplice. You don't know who all else around, and you let this fool stand up, pump his fist, do all this. That all got to be against protocol. So not only should she be resigned, that whole squad that was around him that let him stand up and do all that bullshit, all of them motherfuckers need to be fired too.
Oh yeah.
Because I cannot even believe for 1 second that it's protocol to let him, while you got an active shooter, stand up and do all that bullshit he was doing.
Yeah.
You don't know if there's an accomplice. You don't know if there's somebody else in the crowd on the perimeter. You don't know what the hell's going on. The first thing should have been to cover him and get his ass out of there. He's standing up. He's talking about, wait, let me get my shoe, doing the fist pump, getting out the car. Everybody need to be fired.
That's right.
Everybody need to be fired.
I'm not a trained Secret Service agent, and I know that. I watch enough TV shows to know that that's what you do. And even just shootings, right? You look at when Ronald Reagan got shot. Man, he was 1 minute he was there, and the next minute he was gone in that truck. Gone. He was just out of there. And to see these guys like pow, 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 pow. And then how many seconds before a Secret Service agent even jumps on the stage?
That part too. I was like, wait a minute. Where we at?
It was crazy. So just complete failure all the way around. Anyway, John, thank you so much for the comment, and love you, man. Come back anytime. Come back. Welcome anytime on the show.
Yes, and thanks, Billy. We had Billy back there, but he's a little too shy to jump on right now.
I think so.
But thank you for coming on, Billy. Next time, I hope you jump on and have something to say to us. We want to talk to you, holler at you, see your face. So thank you, both John and Billy, for at least jumping on. But I'm with you, and that was probably ketchup all over his ear too. But I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
That's taking it too far. I can almost believe it, but until I see more, I don't want to go that far.
No. I'm not going to say that. I believe he got hurt, but I don't believe he got shot.
No,
I believe he got injured, but not shot.
That's right.
I cut my thumb the other day out in my yard on a pair of pruning shears, and it bled like a stuck pig.
Oh, yeah.
But the wound was superficial.
That's right.
So that dude had a superficial wound on his ear, and he turned it into a
and then he put that mattress on his ear for the conference.
Yeah. And here's something disgusting. I've been seeing Major League Baseball players, like after they knock in a run or score a run or hit a home run, doing the fight thing.
Are you kidding?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. Come on. The man is an adjudicated rapist, for fuck's sake.
That's right.
You know, and And every single one of those baseball players that I've seen do that is looks a lot like me and Keith.
Yeah, a lot of white guys. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's
Well,
wild.
December, we wait for this every segment on the God Squad, and we think you got a good one for us this time, right?
Yeah, this yeah, I got a good one for you.
All right.
So I was on Twitter this week and following the announcement, of course, there's a lot of hullabaloo, there's a lot of chit chatter, there's a lot of going on, there's a lot of rumbling and mumbling and carrying on. And one of the rumblings that I stumbled upon is this heifer right here. So I stumbled upon this raggedy heifer right here. And she is going to be this motherfucker of the week. I'm going to have some t-shirts made. This motherfucker. This motherfucker right here.
We're gonna make
Go ahead and put her up there. I believe her name is Laura Loomer.
Yeah, there's
now. This woman, now this is before the announcement of Kamala. We're going to get to Kamala in a second. But I want to give you just some of the bullshit that she posts. So this, I don't know what this woman's claim to fame is. I don't know who she is beyond these raggedy ass posts that she's making. This one she apparently caught too much heat for, or got embarrassed about, so she actually deleted it. But you know, things on the internet is evergreen.
That's right.
So somebody captured this before she deleted it. But this is what she had to say about Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who has been an advocate and fighter for women, for children, for the poor, for every disadvantaged person, for every cause, for the people, basically all her life, and definitely all her political life, who hasn't had, to the best of my knowledge, any kind of scandals in her leadership or term in Congress. And here you go with this woman, and this is what she says. I'm not going to say everything she says, but she says, even on her deathbed, this is what this fool says. This ghetto bee couldn't keep President Trump's name out her disgusting mouth. I'd say rest in peace, but we all know lying Democrats who have destroyed our country are going to hell. This is what she's saying about somebody she don't even know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sheila Jackson Lee will be remembered as a destructive force in America and one of the most low IQ. You know what? I'm not going to read it all. Y'all read it. Because I'm not going to repeat this bitch words out my mouth. Listen, this motherfucker right here, and there's plenty of them like her, who throw words into their posts, into their comments, whatever they're talking about. And wait, keep her thing up there. I ain't ready to rumble. Yeah, I want them to see this. Okay? Because we got one more post that we need to look at. I want you to look at this, and I want you to see the tropes that they put in here. This is getting old, but it's new, but it's old, and it's the same old shit. So this woman has lived an exemplary life. I'm talking about Sheila Jackson Lee, okay? An exemplary life, served her people well, served her country well, served her state well. You're not finna find a soul probably that I can think of that will have anything negative to say. But here you got this woman calling her ghetto, calling her a B, talking about she got low IQ. And I promise you, if Sheila Jackson Lee was not an African-American woman, this post would not exist. And it's the same bullshit that they're coming with Kamala Harris. It's the same bullshit. It's the same dog whistles. It's the same it's the same flags that they're flying and waving around. It's the same things that they're talking about. And here's the thing about it. I want to be careful because I can get real pissed about this kind of thing. But the thing is, it's common. It's more common than you think. You would think that this Laura Loomer is some kind of outlier. She's not. She is not. It doesn't matter how high you get up in this country. There's always going to be some person that's going to try to say that you're ghetto simply because you black. What is she even basing that on? What is that based on besides her being black? There's always going to be some kind of person, no matter how much education you get as an African American in this country. There's or even any type of minority with brown, black skin or something that other than white that's going to say low IQ. Based on what, bitch? Based on what? This is also something that Donald Trump says, low IQ, low IQ. Based on what? These people have gone to colleges, gone to universities. They have been voted into their positions. They're not talking about DEI this and DEI that. Motherfucker, thousands of people vote for somebody. How does that make them a DEI hire? This ain't no damn grocery store.
Right.
This ain't Walmart. Okay? This ain't your mom and pop shop. This isn't even a small corporation. We're talking about the United States Congress. We're talking about the United States of America. You understand what I'm saying? And the same, every vote, whether they wanted to or not, every vote for Biden was a vote for Kamala. So how the hell was that a DEI hire? The whole country did a DEI hire? However many, was it 80-something million people? And put the next post up there. This is the post since she got two of them. This is the post since Biden stepped down and handed the torch off to Kamala. It's time for Republicans to start talking about, and here's the other trope, Kamala's sexual history. And the reason why she likely doesn't have any children of her own. I'm willing to bet she's had so many abortions that she damaged her uterus. A woman who has no biological children of her own, look at this, should not be allowed to make decisions in the White House for your children. Put up the next one up there. Also, that's the same thought process our good brother J.D. Vance has as well. Did you know that Kamala Harris was once an escort and that she got her career started giving blowjobs successfully? These are the things. This is what's going to happen when a woman of color, I won't even just say black, when a woman of color rises up. You can take that shit off. Laura Loomer is this motherfucker this week. Laura Loomer is this motherfucker, and you can take that post down. Every other person.
Yeah, December, we lost you a little bit.
I don't know if we're still live. I'm just going to keep talking.
Okay.
Look like the internet might have went down.
Yeah. All right. You're back.
I mean, she got so vile that even Elon Musk's Twitter put the hateful content
good
thing on that last one.
Good. Yeah, she deserved it.
And Ibram X. Kendi stamped from the beginning. He talks a lot about those hypersexualized tropes about black women.
Yes.
And that's the kind of shit that Laura Loomer trades in. Her whole claim to fame is not getting elected to Congress in Florida, which is MAGA Central. So that's her whole claim to fame. That and some really scary looking plastic surgery that she seems to have had. I don't know if it's Botox or what, but yeah. She was not a DEI hire because they didn't elect her dumbass.
That's right. Yeah, no, the thing about, I hate when I hear people say this. And the funny thing is, most of the time when I hear people talking about Kamala Harris and saying that she has a low IQ or that she slept her way up, it's usually from white guys who have a high school diploma and not much else, who are you know what, dude? Kamala Harris, I would just love to see a debate between you and Kamala Harris about anything. She would destroy you. Okay. She has a law degree. She has served as a senator. She's been a vice president for 4 years. She has accomplished more in the lifetime of her critics than any of them, right? And so for them to stand there and say that this woman, who's a lawyer, who was a senator, who was a vice president, that she's dumb or that she's not qualified, that's bullshit. Totally.
Yeah, I mean, she was the Attorney General of California, and for those who don't know, California has one of the leading economies in the fucking world. It's like in the top 10.
Yeah.
Including nations.
That's
the
right.
State of California
That's right.
is one of the leading economies in the world. So Kamala Harris is incredibly well qualified by any metric that you might want to look at for public office. On the flip side, J.D. Vance was a venture capitalist.
Oh, now we're talking. Let's talk about somebody who was handed something on a silver platter, who did not work hard for it, who did not deserve it. J.D. Vance has been a senator or whatever. Is he even a senator or junior?
Yeah, he's a senator from Kentucky.
For how long? A couple of months?
Not long. Like, I think he got it in the last round of elections for Kentucky.
Right. So not even a full year, like, or maybe over a year. Like, it's nothing. So this guy he has a sugar daddy who's a billionaire who has been guiding his career.
A gay billionaire.
A gay billionaire, which is, yes, exactly.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which is that's the irony, right? Pete Buttigieg had a really great thing about that, talking about how, this guy is gay, but first he's a billionaire, and he likes that Trump he's going to take care of people like him, meaning billionaires, not gay people. And so, but said J.D. Vance's was definitely handed something. Talk about a DEI. That's J.D. Vance. That's not Kamala Harris.
Yeah, and let's not even go to the Orange Menace. That motherfucker had exactly zero qualifications to be
zero.
The president of a lemonade stand.
That's right.
It's all about it's what we want, how we want, when we want, for the reasons we want. Otherwise, it's not qualified. You didn't earn it. You shouldn't be there. It's not your place.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're using all these dog whistles. We know what they mean. It means this is a uppity black person who doesn't deserve to be here. Especially when they say she should be more grateful. Grateful for what, bitch? Okay. You should be more grateful that you're able to build this country on the back of free labor.
That's
you should be more grateful that this country is so diverse and so many people want to be here. You should be more grateful about the country that we're becoming. We're still trying to live up to the promise that we made in our goddamn Constitution. You should be grateful. What the hell makes you think she's not grateful?
Right.
Where is that even coming from if it's not coming from your own racist mind?
Yeah.
But based on what they're saying about women and this and that, I did not know. I found out by the post from the Harris headquarters page that today is World IVF Day. I did not know that.
There you go.
It's World IVF Day. And so, in honor of, I just want to say this in honor of J.D. Vance and all the childless cat ladies and all that bullshit he's talking about, is that I didn't know this. I just did a little bit of research that about 4 million births per year are through IVF. 4 million births per year. I didn't know it was so many. 1 in 8 couples deal with infertility. I also dealt with infertility. I call my 2 babies miracles. I was told that I either wasn't going to be able to have kids or that I would need fertility treatment because I had something called amenorrhea, which it means your cycle is not regular. I could go 7, 8, 9 months without having a cycle, but I have 2 miracles. Praise the Lord. So when they're talking about childless women and it's running the cat ladies and all this stuff, I think that is the dumbest thing you could ever do. You're isolating so many women, whether they decided that they wanted to have a career and they didn't want to have children right now or didn't want to have them at all because that's their choice. And men can make that choice too, but they don't get judged for it. Okay. Or whether they are childless because they had infertility problems. They had to have a hysterectomy. They had endometriosis. They had ovarian cancer. You know what I'm saying? They had miscarriages. Whatever the case is, that is a completely asinine thing to say and position, just to blanketly throw out there childless women with the cat lady. What the hell are you even saying? And who are you talking to? Republican women like cats? Republican women have miscarriages. Republican women have infertility issues.
Right.
Republican women get IVF treatments.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you talking to?
Dylan, you're muted, bud.
They're not going to care if they get in power. All those women are going to be pushed to the margins. All those women that are standing up and like Meg Basham and fucking Megyn Kelly and any Sarah Huckabee Sanders, all those kind of women that are prominent now, if these motherfuckers get their way, those women are going to be pushed to the side and go to Gilead or whatever the fuck it's called, because they don't believe women are as powerful, as smart, as intelligent, as capable, etc., as men.
They want a
They're
male
They're
dominated
going to get
world.
pushed to the margins.
That's right.
They want to make America great again. And I'm going to tell you what that means. That means going back to a time where Black people had to stay in their place.
Mhm.
That means going back to a time where women were barefoot pregnant in the kitchen.
That's right.
That means going back to a time where women couldn't vote. And some of them are flat out saying that part
Flat
out
out
loud.
saying, yep.
They're not
Oh, yeah.
even covering that
Women
up.
are
And
saying
they ain't
Yes.
even buttering that up where women couldn't vote.
Yeah.
They mean going back to a time where everyone that was in power, that had a say, that had a vote, that had a voice, was a white, male, Christian that owned property and probably owned slaves.
Mhm.
That's what they want. If you let them have their way, if they're honest, if they'll really completely be honest, the time frame that they really want to make America great again is somewhere between the 40s and the 50s, maybe the 30s and the 50s.
1830.
Definitely
Yeah.
before the civil rights movement. And they want a combination between the 50s and somewhere before the 19th Amendment, which is what I believe gave women the right to vote.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whatever the case is, it ain't what we want. I think the mantra is we're not going back. We're not going
That's
back.
right. I love that. Yeah, that was Kamala Harris's that was her slogan, right? We're not going back. I agree. We should, and we have to. And again, you're part of the resistance, and part of the resistance is we're not going back. We're going forward, right? We're not going back to. We're not going to roll back civil rights. We're not going to roll back gay marriage. We're not going to roll back abortion. We're not going to roll back, any of the women voting and all that stuff. We have to go forward, and that's where I want to go anyway. I'm not interested in going backwards.
We are
Yeah.
not going back. We're not going back. What is the
Gotta
good news, Keith? Go ahead,
I'm
Dylan.
a permaculture guy, so I just want to throw this out there that in permaculture, we understand that ecosystems are only as stable as their diverse connections make them.
Yes.
That's why you don't see monocrops in fucking nature. Because one bug could come through and wipe out that shit. Our nation is literally stronger because we are diverse in ideas, in language.
There's a reason why
in
we're the most
gender,
powerful
and
nation
all
in the
that
world.
stuff.
That's right.
So
Yes.
fuck these bigoted motherfuckers.
Yeah,
All of
I
it.
agree.
No
Totally
Vaseline.
agree. All the way, and the horse they rode in on.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So let's wrap it up with a little bit of good news. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of good news this week. This is what's so great. We started off actually talking about the good news with Biden doing the right thing, with Kamala Harris stepping forward. I nearly picked this as my good news, which was the idea when I saw the news that a super PAC for Nikki Haley had transferred all their money to Kamala Harris. And I thought, holy moly, that's flipping awesome. Now, Nikki Haley's trying to sue them to get her name off of it, but who cares? We don't need her name.
It's already out there now.
We got the money now. Who cares? I just think that's beautiful. And
I'd
I think
buy
we're
that
missing
t-shirt,
more of that
William.
kind of thing. Yeah,
Yes.
I would too. So, but I'm gonna go with something not politics. This is just something that happened in the world that was just really kind of cool. So I just came across this story. There was this man, this 48-year-old man in Kentucky. He's been missing for 2 weeks. And I was reading the story about how he's been missing for 2 weeks. They were interviewing one of the guys leading the search and rescue team. He says, to be honest, praying isn't something that I do very often, but we were working on this operation since Tuesday. And he said most of the team went into the day pretty much with the thought this was going to be a recovery mission. And he said, so I said a prayer knowing the family was probably going to get some very sad news by the end of that day. And they were going out to do their final search. And he said they were in the roughest terrain you could imagine, very dangerous for anybody to be out where they were. And they heard a very faint noise in the distance. They shouted, "Who was that?" They heard a help. They ran in the direction and they found him. He was alive. And so this man, let's see if I can find his name. Eric, nope. What's his name? Was found alive. Well, darn it, where's Scott Hearn? There he is. His name is Scott Hearn. He was found alive. So again, think about that. He was missing for 14 days. That's like 2 weeks.
Wow.
And no food, no water. So he was very lucky to be alive. And they said that when he got into the hospital, that he was lucky to be alive. And so they immediately put him on, IV drips and everything, and he's doing fine now. But that was just some good news. Someone got their dad back. They got their husband back. They got their grandpa back. That's good news. And I'm glad that there is so much other good news to talk about. Again, that we all can have this collective sigh of relief. I feel a lot more positive. I'm hoping we're going to continue to see momentum going forward. That, guys, listen, this is what's so great. Could this be the end of Trump? Could this be the end of it? Like,
oh God, I hope so.
I really hope so. I hope
your lips to God's ears.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of saying his name. I'm
Me
so tired
too.
of hearing his name.
Tired of talking about it.
We have to talk about him because he makes so much news all the time with the foolery and the fuckery that he does. But I'm so tired of hearing his. I'm waiting for the day we get to a month or even a week where we don't have to say his name.
Yeah.
Me too.
That'll be beautiful.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Well, let's hope. Anyway, thank you guys all for listening to the God Squad. Be sure and check us.
We're not quite
Wednesday
done,
night.
Keith.
Sorry?
We're not quite done. I'm
sorry.
done
You're
yet.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me, Dylan. We do have an announcement
Yeah.
before we close. Go ahead.
Yeah. So a lot of our listeners may not know this. In my book, I wrote an essay about 7 years ago, and it ended up in my book, and it was an ethical case for universal health care. And I argued from both the deontological and the teleological ethical point that there is no ethical reason to not have universal health care.
Right.
And then earlier this year, I think it was in May, my sister, who is a nurse, was diagnosed with lymphatic and breast cancer.
Mm.
And because we don't have universal health care in this country, my sister, who is in the healthcare industry, so to speak, has to crowdfund for her double mastectomy and recovery time. And that breaks my fucking heart.
Yeah.
That anybody would have to go through this for any reason. I get all my health care from the VA because I have service-connected PTSD, and I feel very lucky that I get to do that. And I think that everybody should be able to do that. Our producer, Matt, put up a GoFundMe. I hate doing that.
Yeah.
But if you can, my sister Whitney is going through something horrible, and she can't work, and she's maybe going to lose her insurance and maybe not going to be able to have her treatment. So if you can, please, any amount will help. And I would just ask that everybody advocate for universal health care, because again, in the world's richest nation, there's no fucking reason that for-profit healthcare should be a thing. That's not how you love your neighbors. That's how you pad the pockets of insurance companies and
millionaire corporations.
And millionaire corporations, yeah.
Billionaires.
So
yes.
Whitney Cates, and if you're the praying kind, her surgery is August the 6th. And I can't imagine being a woman that has to go through that particular surgery. And I just want to say fuck you to every single politician since the 1930s who has actively obstructed getting universal health care in this country.
Yeah.
Because that is what the love of money looks like, and that's the root of all evil, according to the Bible.
Yeah,
making people crowdfund when it's completely possible. We would save billions of dollars in this country. The studies have been done. Universal health care would save the government money,
billions,
and taxpayers too. So if you can, hit that link for my sister's GoFundMe, and thank you for your support. And I apologize if I offended anybody, but I love my sister. She was born on my third birthday. I will never get a better birthday present than my sister Whitney.
That's beautiful.
Well, prayers up for Whitney. And if you're not the prayer type, if you're the kind that sends good energy, or you commune with nature, or however you connect with your source of power, send good vibes, send good energy, send a prayer. We are believing with you that she will be completely well and recover from
Yeah.
the surgery
Absolutely.
and
Thank
have
y'all.
everything she needs, all provision provided.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make sure that link is, we'll share the link in the God Squad Facebook group and then also in the show notes for this episode as well. Thank you for what any of you are able to do and sending love and good vibes and prayers and everything else for her. Yeah, it does suck. I think I saw the meme that said something like, universal healthcare is such a complicated problem that only 32 of 33 developed countries have solved this problem.
Yeah.
Meaning only one hasn't, and that's us.
That's us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
it, like
countries
you
where
said,
it
Dylan,
seems
it's
to be
been intentional.
problematic is where they've gone through austerity measures and unfunded it, defunded
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
When it's funded appropriately, the shit works well. So
Yeah.
There's enough
There's
money
that.
to go around too. Don't let any of these politicians convince you that there is not, that we can't afford it, that we can't afford Medicaid, we can't afford Medicare, we can't afford Social Security. We could afford all that shit. Because I'm old enough to remember when these banks failed in 2017, we afforded to bail their asses out.
mhm.
That's
If
right.
we could afford to bail billionaires out, we could afford to bail sick, unhealthy, unwell Americans out. And that's not really, that's just humanity. That's not
Yeah.
even bailing anyone out of their own decisions. You don't decide to get cancer.
Yeah. No
So-
one ever says when there's a war, how are we going to pay for it?
Mhm.
They only ask how you're
Somehow
going
we
to pay
find the
for it.
money.
They only say how you're going to pay for it when it comes to education or healthcare.
Mhm.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then
Yeah.
it's and I think our good friend JD Vance has some things to say about that as well. It's Project 2025. But we,
Yeah.
we find money when we want to spend on what we want to spend it on. We can find the money.
That's exactly right.
That's
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, it's been a great episode. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Be sure and join the God Squad Facebook group. And that's also found at godsquadpod.com. And you can catch the God Squad every Wednesday live on John Fugelsang's SiriusXM radio show, Tell Me Everything, 10 p.m. Eastern Time for an hour. Also every Thursday right here at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you all for listening. Thank you for supporting the God Squad. We really couldn't do this without you. And we've been so blown away.
Right.
I mean, we've only been doing this, haven't even been doing this a month. And
Yeah.
already I think every episode we've done is like doubled the listenership of the previous episode. So thank you all
love
for listening and streaming and sharing. Share it with your friends, like and subscribe, all that. Leave a comment and a note. We appreciate it.
And shout out to our faithful listeners too. And Lynette,
Yeah.
I love you back. Alan Vanderlei, John Suarez, Judy Kowalski Rice, who says she has 3 miracle triplets from IVF. Wonderful. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
Just thank you all that are watching and commenting. We love y'all. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you all for listening and for the comments and everything too. And our live callers too. Thank you all so much. We had a
William.
caller right here at the end, but we were running out of time. So please come on.
Next week,
come back next
Tabby.
time. Yeah, Tabby, come back next time. We'll expect you. Call in early. We'll put you on first. You'll be the first call.
There you go. And William, I think you need to be on the show, William Finstermacher. You need to come on the show. You got a lot to say. You don't have to be on video. It could just be your voice. Just come on. Click that link and come in the show next time, William.
That's right. You don't even have to be on camera if you don't want to be.
You don't have to be on camera.
That's right.
I mean, I do it.
Yeah, come on.
And I got a face
You
for
are
radio.
you're
y'all.
one sexy devil, Dylan. You can do this. Yes. All right. Thank you, Jim and Amanda Davis, too. All right.
White people dancing now.
Love that theme song. By the way, shout out. I haven't told anybody. That is a band called Paradigm Shift. Our theme song is a song called Starsky's Hutch. So check it out. Great band.
Wow.
Great song.
Yes. Shout out to 1 and 1 show, too. I don't even know.